All right, let's go. Can you believe this? The hunt for the Dreadnaught. We're at the end. How crazy is this? Speaking of crazy, look at all these cards. Okay, so we're going to play standard mode, and this is all the setup, so of course I'll just go through it instead of reading this all to you. This is an extremely fun quest, and it's not very hard. It's just very fun. So 1A, awesome flavor text, and then we have all these different piles of cards. So here we have the Elite Corsairs, and those get shuffled into their own deck, so I put them with the Cardboard of the Ring sleeves that was handed out as Patreon swag last year. And then you have your Corsairs without the Elite trait, and these are basically your pirates that will engage you via the boarding keyword when you engage a ship enemy. That'll come off the encounter deck, so you give all these a shuffle. I put these in separate sleeves to help me remember where anyone goes when they get discarded, because the Corsairs go into their own discard pile. We also have set aside these 4 Gondorian warships, and there's a way for those to get shuffled into the encounter deck, so you want to separate those out and set them aside. We also have 6 objective ships, and you get to choose one of them, and I am going to choose the Twilight's Call. It's a 3/4/4/18 Greyhaven ship. You keep it on its basic side when it enters play. It is immune to player card effects. The first card you play each round does not require a resource match. And then action, limit once per round, play an ally or attachment. So that means you can play an ally or attachment during any of the phases once per round. That's awesome. Okay, so who's going to be sailing this ship? Well, the OG crew is back. This is the original hero lineup that we started the series with. I thought it would be fun to bring them back for the final quest. We have Baravor. You know what she does. She draws you 2 cards if you exhaust her. She's got great stats. We have Eowyn, questing for 4, discard a card to boost her willpower by 1, and then Theodred, when he commits to the quest, he can give himself or another hero that's currently committed to the quest 1 resource. This is the killer deck hero lineup, and that deck only had 44 cards because, honestly, any more cards would have been crazy to put in the deck based on the cards available at the time. To show just how things have changed, we're going to be using the A Perilous Voyage contract. This is the contract that actually came with this scenario, and your minimum deck size has to be 100 cards. So we had trouble getting to 50, and now we're going to have 100. And man, anytime I see this contract, I just start cracking up because I remember the joke we played on Caleb. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we had Caleb on the show as a guest, and we also were given this card as a spoiler on the show. And when I told Caleb that we were going to get to spoil this contract, he asked me to send him the image that we were sent because he was neck deep in Marvel Champion stuff at that time, and his home computer doesn't have the cards. So I was happy to do it, but I did a little photoshopping before I sent it to him. I replaced the faces with the faces of the COTR crew, and I added a 0 to the 100. And oh my goodness, if you have heard that episode, when he opens the card up to talk about it on the show and sees it says your minimum deck size is 1,000, it was great. Oh, the panic. It was so good. So anyway, yeah, it's not 1,000 cards. That would be difficult to shuffle. 100 already is difficult to shuffle. The contract also says this. Your threat cannot be reduced by player card effects. Action, exhaust this card and raise your threat by 1 to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, draw 1, and place the other on the bottom of your deck, and then forced, when you would be eliminated by reaching your threat elimination level, flip this card over instead. So yeah, 100 cards. I mean, that's pretty crazy. It's very hard to shuffle. So I did a before I started the video shuffle where I made piles and shuffled each pile, then shuffled the piles together. But yes, it's difficult to shuffle as is, and man, is it a freeing experience when you're building the deck because you literally feel like you can just keep shoving cards in it, and you're just trying to get to 100. You know you're probably not going to see most of the cards you're putting in the deck, so you can't really count on seeing them, but at the same time, you have the possibility of seeing pretty much anything that you put in there. I don't know. It's a very unique experience. You should totally check it out. And you're drawing 2 cards around. You're seeing 3 cards around. You're picking one of the 2 that you look at. So you do see a lot of cards. And if you have any sort of search the top 5 type things, you definitely can get a lot of cards in play. It's just every time you have to shuffle, it's a big pain in the butt. But that's okay. It was actually very fun. This is the first time I've ever played with this contract, and I enjoyed it way more than I thought. And side B is pretty crazy. So you kind of want to thread out. Threading out is good because then you get to flip the contract. The other strange experience I experienced while I was playing this contract is you don't want to stop shuffling it when you draw your opening hand because you're like, I'm only seeing these 6 cards out of 194 I'm not going to see. It's very strange. All right, 1B, we only can put 5 progress per player on this stage each round. And when we hit 8 progress, we advance. But only at the end of the quest phase, so no Legolas tricks or anything. Okay, starting threat is, what is it? It's 27. Yeah, 27. All right, so my starting threat is 27 and resources across the top. And it feels good bringing back this OG crew. This is pretty cool bringing them back. Okay, have we done everything? No, we still need to discard cards until we get 2 locations. Okay, let's flip this over. Quest action, deal 10 damage to a non-unique enemy engaged with a player in any group. Reveal the top card of the encounter deck. All right, limit once per game. If we lose our ship, we lose the game. All right, let's find some locations. There's one. That's a nice one. And holy cow. Okay, that location is the only way you can flip your ship from the basic to the elite side. Now, I included the card Distant Stars to help me find this thing. This is the Belfloss Shipyard. 4 threat, 6 progress. Response, after Belfloss Shipyard is explored as the active location, the players as a group can spend 5 resources to heal 5 damage from a ship objective, ready that ship, and then flip it to its upgraded side. Absolutely amazing. The other location we got is also a nice one. It's the Isle of Fortune. It's a 3 threat, 5 progress. Isle of Fortune enters play with 1 resource per player. Forced, after a ship enemy enters play, discard 1 resource from it. Response, after it's explored as the active location, move the resources to a hero you control. That's awesome as well. Unfortunately, 7 threat in the staging area. Okay, opening hand. I should have already drawn it. I forgot the order of operations here, but this hand's going to have to be pretty terrible for me to go through the whole shuffling process again. I mean, you can't count on finding anything. All right, I got some condition removal. Hennemarth, that's nice. A second Hennemarth? Seriously? All right, Heed the Dream. That lets me find some cards. Great. Glorfindel, expensive. That's all right. A way to cancel a shadow. I can't believe I drew 2 Hennemarths. I have 100 cards, and I drew 2 copies of the same card. That's pretty nuts. But Hennemarth is awesome, so I'm going to keep this hand because I love knowing what's coming. Heed the Dream might let me find something cool. Condition removal is good, and there's some nasty shadows. So, yeah, it's not great, but I'm going to get to see at least 3 more cards once we start the game here. So let's get going. So here come my resources. And the card we draw is... Seriously? Another duplicate? There's so many cards. All right. What do I get here using the ability of Perilous Voyage? I can either keep a knight or Bilbo. I'm going to keep Bilbo. So the knight goes underneath. I raised my threat by 1 to use that ability on the contract. And I'm really glad to have drawn Bilbo. That's nice because that's 2 willpower. And when he enters play, he lets me find a pipe, which is really good because it's pretty hard to guarantee I'm going to find anything with all these cards remaining. So let's find a pipe. Grab half the deck. Not a pipe, not a pipe, not a pipe, not a pipe, not a pipe. That's a horse. Not a pipe, not a pipe. That's a sword. Not a pipe, not a pipe. Bag of stuff. Not a pipe, not a pipe, not a pipe. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, what? Wait. There it is. Okay, I found a pipe. Let's shuffle this deck. This is by far the worst part of the contract. I mean, it is just so annoying to shuffle this deck. Yeah, there. That's good. Fine. Whatever. All right. Moving on. I have 1 more resource to spend, and that's going on Hennemarth. So you exhaust him and take a peek at the top card of the encounter deck. Let's see what we got. There's no treacheries that deal direct damage to exhausted characters. Okay, another location that's when it's in the staging area, it has an effect. So we're going to be up against 9 threat, but I know I don't have any combat. So I can send everybody except Baravor, and we're good. Yeah, I'll still be actually making 2 progress. So let's do that. And I forgot. Theodred should be giving a resource somewhere. I'm going to give that to himself just in case I draw a Steward of Gondor. I can pay for it. Well, actually, my first card doesn't have a resource match. So I guess it really doesn't matter where I put that resource. Okay, let's travel to the landing, because that makes me raise my threat when I draw cards if it's in the staging area. And speaking of drawing cards, let's exhaust Baravor. We're going to draw 2 more cards. We get a drinking song and condition removal. So I have drawn 3 condition removal cards. Yikes. Okay, that's not great. Maybe drinking song will be making an appearance in this game. Let's collect some resources. Everybody's gonna ready. I draw 1 card. Healing, that's good. Very, very glad to see some healing. Let's see what we're up against. Ooh, okay, it's a treachery, violent tempest. Deal 1 damage to each enemy, that's nice. And then each player assigns X damage among characters they control. X is the number of exhausted characters they control. So yeah, there is damage based on exhausted characters, but I don't have to assign it to exhausted characters. So using Hennemarth is okay. Let's use the contract. I'm going to raise my threat by 1, look at my top 2 cards, Elven Light and the Hammersmith. 2 cards that interact with the discard pile, which I currently don't have any cards in my discard pile. So let's put the Hammersmith on the bottom of my deck. I tried to keep quite a few of the original cards from this killer deck. I, got rid of some, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to keep some of the original cards in here. All right, a lot of cards in hand, but nothing I really want to play right now. Glorfindel's really the only card that I want to play, but I can't afford him. So we're going to heed some dreams. Look at the top 5 cards and add 1 to my hand. Now, if I had 3 leadership resources, I could search my entire deck for a card, but honestly, there isn't any card I absolutely need. Maybe Steward, just so I can get more cards in play, but I don't have to find a card. I found Card Draw, Another Pipe, Grimbold, and Put Off Pursuit. Grimbold is great. He's like a feint, but Put Off Pursuit really lets me do a neat trick with any ships that get revealed from the encounter deck. So I'm going to grab Put Off Pursuit. I actually have 3 copies of that card in this deck. It's excellent tech against quests with ship enemies. All right, we got to do some shuffling, so that's no fun. So let me get this all shuffled back up. There we go. That's good, I guess. Okay, I am now going to play the Dunedain Pipe. So the Dunedain Pipe goes on a Dunedain character, limit 1, and then you exhaust it to place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck and then draw a card. So that's really nice. It lets you see a lot more cards and gets rid of cards from your hand that you don't really need, like this duplicated Hennemarth. So Hennemarth going on the bottom of my deck, and the card it gets replaced by is, nice, Warrior Sword. So I can play that next round. I have to wait till I no longer need a resource match, which is only my first card I play every round. Oh man, looking at this hand, nothing else I really need. I know what I'm up against, and I want to clear the active location, so I think I have to send everybody, so that kind of stinks because I'm going to have to do like the maximum amount of damage. But that's okay. That location up in staging is going to let me do some healing, and I have a healer in hand, so 1 damage for every exhausted character needs to be applied, so 6 damage is going to get dished out, and then we will have quested for enough to clear the active location. I was hoping I didn't need to send Baravor, and I could have just boosted Eowyn's willpower. Speaking of who I sent on the quest, I forgot to deal out the resource from Theodred committing, so he's just going to give it to himself. We're going to travel to that island. Hopefully I don't reveal a ship, so then I can keep that resource on there when I explore it and collect it. All right, we're going into the next round. No combat yet. The card I draw is Thorngill. I do not need that. That is actually a card I want to keep in the deck. So I'm glad I have the Dunedain Pipe. All right, let's use the contract. I should have used Hennemarth first. Speaking of Hennemarth, seriously? Again? He's back? Okay. He's going on the bottom of the deck, and I'm going to put Grimbold into my hand, so that's good. And then I'm going to use the Dunedain Pipe to put something on the bottom of my deck that I don't really need, like Thorngill. So Thorngill is going to go on the bottom of my deck. I get to draw another card. So you do see a lot of cards playing this contract. Another Warden. Wow. Okay. Lots of duplicates. There's a lot of cards in this deck I have not seen a single copy of, and I'm just getting duplicates like crazy. Okay, I still haven't played a card, so let's play Grimbold. He's going to quest for 2, and then I can discard him to cancel the attack of an enemy. Okay, spent the resources there, and now something I should have done at the beginning of the turn, and wow, okay, more damage coming. Okay, lots of duplicates. Duplicates from my deck, duplicates from the encounter deck. So yeah, I want to get this Warden in play. so I can start doing some healing. And I'm also trying to make sure I save up because I need 5 resources when I clear that Belfloss shipyard up in staging. Okay, so I'm only up against 4 now. And I know I'm not revealing a ship, so that's nice. I'm going to collect that resource. I'm going to get a resource from Theodred. Let's see, can I avoid sending everybody this time? All right, if I just send these 3 characters, the ship, Theodred, and Eowyn, and then I discard a card to Eowyn, I make enough progress to clear the active, and I only have to deal out 4 damage. So that's really nice. So let's deal 4 damage out, and we will clear this active location. I will have collected a resource from Theodred and a resource from clearing the active location. So that's really nice because I will have resources to spend when I clear the landing, hopefully, and that'll let me flip my ship to the upgraded side. Okay, so let's get the resource. Let's make sure Theodred gave a resource. We're going to travel to the landing. There's nothing to do when you travel there. And then we're going to trigger Baravor. Let's see what we draw. 2 nice allies. Okay, perfect. Good. That's really good. All right, let's go into the next round. Okay, next round. I need to save up 5 resources. Stand and fight. Lets you pull an ally out of your discard pile. And then let's trigger the contract. So raise my threat by 1. The 2 cards I'm looking at are Heed the Dream and Reforged. Okay, well, I have no attachments in my discard pile I need to fish out. So let's put that one on the bottom of my deck. Let's see. Saving my resources. Got to remember that. I have a lot of cards. I mean, this is how many cards I have in my hand. That's a ton. Let's see what we're going to be up against. It is, this is easy. Ballistic Barrage. Doomed 1, and it explains doomed. That's kind of funny. And then each ship gets archery 2. So I don't have any ships. So that's going to do nothing. Let's put in this Warden of Healing. I can actually just spend lore resources to put him in. I could have spent any. And immediately use them to heal 1 damage off of 2 different characters. I'm going to use the pipe to... What do I want to get rid of here? I don't need 2 Wardens of Healing. So let's put the second Warden of Healing on the bottom of the deck. And I get... very good. It's a very good tail. Well, I know I'm not revealing any threat, so let's use it. So a very good tail. I'm going to exhaust 5 resources worth of allies. Going to give the deck a quick shuffle, and then I can discard 5 cards. And I can put in 2 allies with a combined cost of 5. It was tempting to not shuffle at all, but because I've been putting cards on the bottom of the deck, I really should shuffle. And let's see what I get. In a perfect world, I find Furial. That would be great. So, 5 cards, 5 resources worth of allies. Okay, there's Master of the Forge. That's fun with this deck. Snowborn Scout. Ooh, and Faramir. Oh, this is perfect because I can put in Faramir and the Snowborn Scout. I have a stand and fight in my hand. So I will discard Master of the Forge along with those other 2 cards. Faramir, he can exhaust and boost everybody's willpower. Snowborn Scout puts a progress on a location when it enters play. And now Master of the Forge is in my discard pile along with an attachment and another stand and fight. All right, excellent. So that was a good swap. Not really a swap. That was a good use of those 2 allies to get these 2 allies in. Let's play that stand and fight now. So 2 spirit resources. I can still have 5 resources after I quest. So Master of the Forge coming in. He exhausts. You look at your top 5 cards and you can grab an attachment. So that's going to be fun to do shuffling every round. Let's see what I get. Oh, okay. The Woodman's Path is good. Ooh, and Guthwini. Oh, and Unexpected Courage. Oh, there's 2 good attachments. I'd like them both. I think let's get the sword because I would like a little more attack power somewhere. I'm kind of short on attack. And we'll shuffle everything in. And then have Baravor draw us 2 cards because we know we're not going to need her for questing or combat. Okay, the 2 cards I get are another Grimbold and another condition removal. So 2 cards we already got. Okay, quest phase. Eowyn, Theodred, he's going to give his resource to Eowyn. Let's say it doesn't matter because I'm going to spend it. Let's also send the ship. And then let's discard a card to Eowyn to boost the willpower by 1 more. We're going to discard Glorfindel to boost her willpower by 1. So we are sending 9. And the card we get is Doomed 1. So there we go. That's easy peasy. We have made enough progress to clear the active location. Now I need to spend 5 resources, and I can heal 5 damage on my ship, ready it, and flip it to its upgraded side. I could use Faramir to boost my willpower, but I'm only allowed to place 5 progress per round on the quest, so even if I did that, I wouldn't be able to advance, so let's just leave it at 6. I need to get to 8. And yeah, there goes my money. Here goes the damage, so that was really nice. And now we're going to go to the upgraded side, so this is what it says. 4 willpower, 5 attack, 5 defense, 22 hit points. It's immune, sentinel. Each card you play does not require a resource match. That's nuts. Response: after Twilight Call flips, I get to draw 3 cards, and then action, play an ally or attachment from your hand. And there's no limit on that, so I can put allies in the middle of the combat phase, or play an attachment on a location just revealed. Okay, the 3 cards I draw: another Grimbold, Horn of the Mark, and Reforged. All right, that's pretty cool. And that's it. So let's go into the next round. And at the beginning of this turn, something went wrong with my camera. It didn't film correctly. It went all pixelated. But basically, I drew a Daron's Runes. Daron's Runes found me a Furial and Steward of Gondor, so I discarded the Steward and used Reforge to play it. So I put Steward on Éowyn, and then I used the Contract, and I couldn't actually see what I drew because, like I said, the screen went kind of crazy. But at any rate, Henemarth shows me I have an Isle of Fortune coming, so no combat again. And then I used the Master of the Forge, and that found me another copy of Thorngill, which I am not going to keep. I'm going to be putting that on the bottom of my deck with the pipe and getting a different card instead. So goodbye. I definitely want to keep that card in my deck. I have 3 copies, but I don't want it in my hand. Okay, the Dunedain Pipe finds me an Elven Light. And yeah, sure, Baravor draws me 2 more cards, Snowmane and Darrowwine. Okay. So I think you can see this quest is not very difficult, especially if you don't reveal any ships. It's very easy. I'm going to put Snowmane on Éowyn, so she will now ready when she quests successfully. My hope is to get 2 restricted attachments on Theodred. It's real easy to think Snowmane is not restricted because it loses the restricted attachment type when it's on Theoden, but on Theodred it keeps it. So I have played that wrong in the past where I forget that Snowmane is actually restricted. Okay, Theodred now has Guthwini, so I can exhaust that. He gets +2 attack, and then if you kill somebody, you can return a Rohan ally from your discard pile. I used the Warden to do some healing, and now we're going to go questing. I'm going to collect a resource thanks to Theodred. We reveal the Island of Fortune, so that's going to get a resource, but it's not going to be able to keep it. Éowyn readies because we quested successfully, and we have made enough progress to advance to stage 2 with no combat at all in the first round. Or not the first round, in the first stage. Okay, stage 2, destroy the Dreadnaught. We just add the Dreadnaught to the staging area. Elite side, face up. Let's see what this is. Holy cow, it's massive. Okay, we got a big old massive ship here. So the Dreadnaught, 4 threat, 7 attack, 4 defense, archery 1 per player. It's massive, so that means it does not leave the staging area and it attacks each player. It's immune. It cannot take more than 5 damage per player a round. The Dreadnaught has a global hit point value of 15 per player. Forced, at the end of the round, if the Dreadnaught has less than half of its starting hit points, flip it over. So we need to deal 8 damage to this thing in order to flip it over. Okay, we finally are going to have combat. It really surprises me that the Dreadnaught doesn't have the boarding keyword, like once a round or something. Okay, 2B, no more than 5 per player progress can be placed on this stage each round. Action, remove 5 per player progress from the stage to choose a group, to shuffle one of the set-aside Gondorian warships into the encounter deck. Response, when the Dreadnaught attacks you, raise your threat by 4 to cancel this attack. If the Dreadnaught is destroyed, we win the game. So yeah, I would have thought like just every round, boarding 1 or something. You just get an enemy, but okay. So the Isle of Fortune loses its resource because a ship enemy entered play. And now we're getting attacked. So we got archery 1, and I can't use Grimbold because the ship is immune, and he says choose an enemy. So I am going to raise my threat by 4 because one of the best things about the contract I'm using is I actually want to threat out. I want my threat to go up. So raising it by 4 is really nice. And we cancel the attack, so he does not get +2 defense. And now I'm only allowed to do 5 damage, so let's see how much attack I can muster up. I don't have a ton. I mean, I do have the ship, but when I only can do 5 a round anyway, it's okay if you can't do all 5 the first time around, just as long as maybe in 2 rounds you muster up the 8 damage total. So we attacked for 8, and I'm going to do some damage there. 4 damage, and yeah, next round, let's go. It's been a little uneventful, to be honest. I have not had to deal with any ship enemies being revealed, so that really takes the bite out of this quest. Okay, and Elven Light, yep. And I'm also, I have so many cards that I feel like I can do anything. All right, what are we revealing? Okay, we got Overworked. So when revealed until the end of the round, treat the text box of each non-ship ally as if it was blank, except for traits. If you control 7 or more allies, it's going to gain Surge. I do control enough allies that it's going to Surge. Remember, your ship also counts as an ally. All right, I'm going to go through this a little faster because you've seen it done enough times. So raising my threat by 1 for the contract. 2 cards we get are Angbor the Fearless and Quick Beam. I'll keep Angbor the Fearless, and then I am going to use the Master of the Forge. It finds me 3 attachments, all that I have already, so I will grab Guthwini. I will then put it on the bottom of my deck with the Pipe. The Pipe draws me Daron's Runes. Daron's Runes draws me 2 cards, and I get 2 copies of Thorngill. Thank goodness I've been putting some of these on the bottom of my deck. So I discard one of those. And now let's play Arwen. So she is going to boost someone's defense by 1 when she exhausts. And then I am going to play the Horn of the Mark. I'm going to put that on Eowyn. When a character leaves play, if that character shares at least 1 trait with the attached hero, I get to draw a card. So it's restricted, so Eowyn now has 2 restricted attachments. And remember, I can spend my resources however I want. My ship I picked lets me spend resources for any sphere. Let's give Theodred 1 more sword, so he's going to get the Warrior Sword, attached to a Tactics or Warrior character, restricted, limit 1, attached character gets +1 attack for each enemy engaged with you, a limit of +3. Okay, so that's really nice with the boarding keyword. That's just a good card to have in any quest you're going up against ships, because you normally are engaged with 2 or 3 enemies when you engage a ship. But we haven't had to worry about that yet. That pile of pirates is just sitting there doing nothing. I have so many cards in hand, I can't even remember what I actually have available to me. Let's go into the quest phase. I'd like to put 5 progress on the quest so I can shuffle in a warship. So I'm going to send quite a lot of willpower, and then I need to trigger Faramir's ability before I reveal this card, because that card's going to blank his text box, but he gives the willpower boost by exhausting, and then that stays. Now, if he had said something like, while Faramir is exhausted, characters get +1 willpower or something, then blanking his text box would get rid of it. But it's the exhausting him that boosts everybody's willpower by 1. So that willpower gets to stick. So I am sending 16. Everyone's text box is going to be blanked, and then I have to surge because I have 7 or more allies. So I actually don't know what I'm up against here. So it's 16 against 4 at the moment. And the next card is... oh, well, here we go. Finally, an enemy. It's a War Galley. 3 threat, 5/2/7, archery 2, boarding 1. When it engages you, either raise your threat by 4 or it gains boarding 1. All right, well, this is where the ship I chose ability is really, really awesome, because I am going to play an attachment in the quest phase. I'm going to play Put Off Pursuit. I'm going to give the active location +2 quest points, and then after I explore that location, I can choose a non-unique enemy in the staging area. I discard it, and I discard cards off top of the encounter deck till I get a location. So that is awesome, because that's really getting rid of at least 2 enemies, maybe 3 if I triggered that boarding effect. But adding those extra progress needed to that location means I'm going to be a little short. I'm not going to be able to place the 5 progress on the quest, even by discarding a card to Eowyn. Okay, so now I'm going to discard cards till I get a location, and then I'm going to get rid of that ship. So that's just an awesome effect. Oh, there's my location. It's that landing, and that ship gets shuffled in. I think I might have said discarded. It gets shuffled in to the encounter deck. Really, really cool effect on that card. Okay, so now if I draw cards, I have to raise my threat while that's in the staging area. So let's travel there and combat. So we're going to have archery 1 from the Dreadnaught, and we're getting attacked. And once again, I'm just going to raise my threat by 4 and cancel this attack. So after the Warden does some healing, and after I ready Aowen, thanks to Snowmane, the threat is going up. So I've almost threaded out. Remember, I'm trying to thread out. I'm going to use the ability on my ship one more time, and I'm going to pop in Angbor the Fearless so he can help me attack, because he gets +2 attack while my threat is 40 or more. So that is going to give me enough to get the 5 damage on the ship that I needed. I only needed to do 4, but let's do as much damage as possible. I was going to be just a little short from doing the maximum amount, and I really wanted to use Baravor to draw cards because, I mean, I don't have enough. I need more cards. Okay, just kidding. I have plenty, but I still wanted to use her. Okay, so at the end of the round, because we have done 8 damage or more to the ship, we can flip over, and now we are on the damaged side. Okay, 3 threat, 5 attack, 3 defense, still massive, still immune, cannot take more than 5 damage a round. It still has 15 hit points per player, and then forced, after the Dreadnaught flips, each player puts 1 set-aside unique Corsair enemy into play at random engaged with them. So let's see which Corsair enemy we are going to have to deal with. I've played this quest lots of times because it is a really fun quest, and I always forget to add the enemy at this point. I always remember, like, at the next round, like, oh yeah, shouldn't I have some crazy enemy engage with me? All right, let's see who we got. Oh, this is a different guy. I don't think I've ever gotten this one. This is the Descendant of Castamere. He's a 1/3/2/5. That's not bad. He's immune. The engaged player cannot attack the Dreadnaught. That's normal. And then forced, after Descendant of Castamere engages you, put the top 2 cards of the Corsair deck into play, engage with you, and deal each of them a shadow card. Wow, okay. Yeah, I've never had to deal with this one before. That's actually pretty nasty, because, yeah, that's 3 enemies total. Well, the Warrior Sword's all powered up. That's nice. Okay, so let's see what we get. We get the Southron Sailor. So while he's engaged with me, ships I'm engaged with contribute their threat. All right, not a problem because the Dreadnaught's up in the staging area. And another one. Okay, the duplicate thing continues. So all of a sudden, 3 enemies engaged with me, and then these 2 guys are getting shadows. And yep, my board state all of a sudden looks insane. Okay, that all happened at the end of the round, so technically everybody should have already been ready. I just wanted to do that before I forgot. And like I said, we have almost threaded out. All right, let's go into the next round. Okay, the card we draw is another drinking song. I think I have all 3 of those. Let's trigger the contract. Look at the top 2 cards. Ooh, nice. Woodman's Path and Ancient Mathem. Well, I don't need more cards. Woodman's Path is nice because it'll make that active location only need 1 progress to clear. So let's put the Mathem on the bottom. Let's use the pipe, and we'll put Grimbold on the bottom. I have a copy in play, and I have a copy in my hand besides the one I just got rid of. We draw a Meblung. Okay. And then I think I want to take a peek. What do we got? The Sea Monster. Now, this isn't a ship. It's just a regular enemy. It's a creature. It's a 2/4/0/11, so straight shot would be amazing against this. Ship objectives may attack and defend against the Sea Monster, and then when revealed, deal 4 damage to the ship, enemy, or ship objective with the fewest remaining hit points. Well, that's the Dreadnaught. My ship has only 1 damage on it, so the Dreadnaught's going to take 4 damage from this thing because it's not a player card. And that means we only can do 1 damage to it, because you still only can do 5 per round. This Unexpected Courage that I've had for a while, let's put that on Theodred, so he can ready. And remember, I can spend resources however I want, thanks to my ship. And yeah, okay. Yeah, let's play that Woodman's Path on the location, so I only need to make 1 progress there. And I know what I'm going to be up against, so I just need to quest for enough to put 5 progress on the quest. I really only need to put 1, but I want to put as much as I can to shuffle Gondorian warships into the encounter deck. So Theodred's questing, Éowyn's questing, and I am currently going to be up against 5. All right, so let's send Bilbo and Arwen. Arwen's going to boost Faramir, I guess. Angbor the Fearless does not exhaust a quest, so he's sending his 2. So I am sending 11, which is perfect. All right. Theoden gives his resource somewhere. We reveal this 2-threat enemy. It's going to deal 4 damage to the Dreadnaught, so thank you very much, Mr. Monster. The Dreadnaught will have 13 out of 15 damage. I'm only allowed to do 1 more damage this round because it only can take 5 damage total for the round, no matter how it gets it. Okay, 1 progress goes on the active location, and then 5 goes on the quest, and then I'm going to immediately remove those 5 progress and shuffle in one of these Gondorian warships. So we get one of those in the deck. Well, we've had a pretty lazy voyage this whole quest, but now it's catching up with us because this combat phase is going to be pretty interesting. We got 5 enemies engaged with us, and yeah, it's going to be a little crazy to figure this out. So let's not forget, Éowyn should be ready because we quested successfully thanks to Snowmane. And then now we have Archery 1. So let's put that on Angbor the Fearless, and I am going to cancel the Dreadnaught's attack by raising my threat by 4. That is going to threat me out, and you raise your threat in one big package. So I went over 50, but that's okay. Now I get to flip the contract. Your threat cannot be reduced by non-contract player card effects. Heroes you control do not exhaust to quests. I'm going to forget that. Forced, when this card is flipped to this side, reduce your threat by 10. Search your deck for a card and either add it to your hand or play it, reducing its cost by 3. Shuffle your deck. All right, so my threat is going to drop back down by 10, so I am no longer in danger of threating out in the near term. And now I'm going to search for a card, and this is why I keep putting all those Thorngills back into my deck. Here we go. It's an attachment. It's a title attached to a non-fellowship, non-Baggins hero you control. Response: after you attach Thorngill to a hero, search your collection for a different non-fellowship, non-Baggins version of that hero and attach it to Thorngill. While Thorngill is in play, attached hero gains the game text and resource icon of the attached hero card. If Thorngill leaves play, remove the hero card attached to it from the game. So much fun. So much fun to use this card and get different versions of a hero into play when you start the game with one. So I am going to be attaching that to Éowyn for free. And then, of course, I am going to dig out of my collection the Tactics version of Éowyn. With her huge attack ability, I'm going to be able to ready her and give her +9 attack until the end of the phase. So that ability is now on Éowyn, and it came at just the right time. So this is going to be perfect. All right, let's discard Grimbold, and I'm going to be able to cancel an attack from one of the enemies engaged with me. So I am going to choose the Sea Monster. So the Sea Monster is not attacking me, and there was a shadow. I would have had to assign some damage out. Okay, no big deal there. And then let's chump the Elite Corsair with a Snowborn Scout. Okay, there goes a ship enemy. I mean, there's a decent amount of ship enemies in here. If you don't reveal them, though, the quest is very easy. And, I mean, if you get a little bit of a board state built up, you can handle these ship enemies. But revealing one on turn 1 can be pretty bad. All right, Horn of the Mark gets to trigger because a Rohan ally left play. I draw Gon, Berry, Gon. Okay, still more attacks coming. Master of the Forge is going to defend this one. No shadows there. So he's going to bite it. And then I'm going to have Faramir defend the next Corsair. And he has a defense boost, so he's actually defending for 3, thanks to Arwen. So let's see, 2 shadows coming. +1, +2 if I have an exhausted ship. I don't. And then if the attacking enemy is a ship, return it to the staging area. Oh, that's why Hasty Stroke's in this deck. Having to do the boarding keyword again stinks. All right, Faramir takes 1 damage. I'm going to exhaust the Warden, and we're going to do some healing. And let's attack back. So I'm going to declare Éowyn an attacker. I'm going to raise my threat by 3 to ready her. She now has +9 attack. She is going to kill the Elite Corsair. He's dead. And she's still ready with 10 attack. So 10 plus 1 more will take care of that sea monster. So who has one? I don't have a good one. So Agbor the Fearless will help me kill the sea monster. All right. And then let's see. The ship by itself can deal the 1 damage I'm allowed. So I'm 1 hit point away from destroying the Dreadnaught. And then Theodred can attack for 1, 2, plus 2, plus 2. And I can kill one of these Corsair enemies. And because he killed an enemy with Guthwini, I can pull back a Rohan ally from my discard pile, which will be the Snowborn Scout, because I already have a Grimbold in my hand. So let's pull back the Snowborn Scout. I have Baravor ready in 3 resources, but I do not have an ally that could actually kill that Corsair enemy with her. Let's see what I draw. Yeah, okay, can't afford Furiel right now, and she couldn't kill that enemy anyway, so we will go into the next round. Oh man, and the card I drew was Unexpected Courage, so if I had drawn that, I could have put that on Eowyn and killed the last Corsair. And we're revealing the ship. Okay, that's awesome. So that is going to be what we reveal, and it adds no threat. Let's put Furiel into play. I could also have put Glorfindel from my discard pile in. Sending Eowyn by herself is enough to get the 1 progress I need to shuffle in another warship, but I'll send Angbor and Arwen and Eowyn, and we reveal a Gondorian warship, so that's nice. So we get control of that, and then I make 1 progress, and so I remove 5, and that lets me shuffle in another warship. And then we're going to go into combat, and I get confused because I never discarded that shadow. You can see it up there, and that makes me think, did I ever take this attack? So I just say, all right, I'll take it undefended on the ship. But I actually took that attack by raising my threat by 4. I just forgot, and the shadow messed me up. So I just put some damage on my ship that I shouldn't have. The ships take all undefended damage from other ships. That's how the ship's mechanic work. Okay, so I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. All right, we got some archery. There we go. Why not? And then, once again, Arwen boosted Faramir. So we have the attack from the little Corsair. Arwen should be ready from questing. My ship will defend this. Assign 2 damage among characters. 3 if there's 10 or more cards in my discard pile. Okay, there's definitely cards in my discard pile, but I have a hasty stroke, so I could cancel that, but I also have plenty of hit points to spare. So let's just deal some damage out like that. Heal off 1 from Theodred and 1 from Furiel with the Warden. And then we have no damage on my ship from that attack. Faramir takes this attack, and there is a shadow if it's defending character is a ship. All right, attach this card to it. Okay, that does nothing. And then all we have to do is 1 damage to the ship, which we can do easily. So my Gondorian warship can do the 1 point of damage to the Dreadnaught, which is the 15th damage, and it is destroyed. And that was the last big enemy to take care of. I have plenty of characters to completely clear the board state. And that's it, folks. That was the final quest of this series. I guess stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to kind of talk about where I am going next on the YouTube channel, what my plan is, and it's going to be an interesting video because I'm going to be talking about some of the heroes that I never got into play during this whole series, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this quest, and I hope you've enjoyed the series. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.